Hello and welcome to Off My Shelves, and in this episode we are going to be talking about Jonathan Case's Dear Creature, published by Dark Horse Comics, and yeah, we will get underway. So Dear Creature is a recent purchase, and yeah, I read some of this, as I said in a whole video not so long ago, digitally, and really liked how quirky and fun and interesting it was, and so I picked it up as soon as I could really. It's a beautifully built book. It's the same size as the deluxe version, so again, if I get Wonder Woman out for you, Wonder Woman Deluxe by DC, same size, same scale, so you same size as an Omnibus really from DC or from Marvel. It comes with no dust jacket, but the texturing on the cover is wonderfully done really. A really simplistic but really interesting design on the cover, and his friends the crabs on the back really. But yeah, it's a stunning book. It's sewn binding as well, and the binding is fabulous in every way, and the paper inside is a old stock matte paper. The whole thing is in black and white as well, which is rapidly growing to be my favourite format, to be honest. I do love colour when it's done well, but there's something so special about a good black and white book, I think. But either way, to the story. Now, the story of Jonathan Case's Dear Creature is it's just astounding. When you listen to me telling you the story, you think, how can that be good? But trust me, it is, because the story essentially is of a sea creature called Gru. Now, he is a sea creature that has been going about his daily business of killing people and eating them under the water for many years. He's a product of atomic experimentation. You don't hear too much about that, but he certainly says in the book that he is, atomically, created and all that type of thing. And so he's going about his daily life, but then he starts finding these cola bottles filled with lines from Shakespeare plays, and he starts reading them, and he starts getting a lust and a zest for life, but he also starts getting guilty about killing humans and wants to change who he is. But he's finding it difficult. He's finding it very difficult to stop and avoid the hunger and to stop eating people. So he's actively, when the story starts, looking for a reason to stop being this monster who's eating people. The other thing is he's hypersensitive to hormones and things like that. So if a young couple are making love or kissing nearby, that's what he hones in on. That's what he's hypersensitive to, and it creates this kind of hunger in him to come and eat, really. He's got 3 friends who are crabs, and they chat to him, and they basically try to tell him, keep eating, don't listen to your instincts, let's eat some humans together. And so they're this kind of devil on his shoulder all the time, and he's trying desperately to form a conscience of some kind. So he's struggling to control his hunger, definitely, and he fails many times in the book to control his hunger, but he thinks to himself, I am going to try actively to find the person who is sending out the Shakespeare in these cola bottles, because they will be my inspiration, what I can dedicate my life to. He's looking for a reason to be different, and he thinks that finding this person will give him that reason. And so he goes out, and slowly but surely you get to understand when he's wandering around trying to investigate who's sending these notes out on the sea. You find out more and more about the town and the area he's living in, this kind of American seaside town, and you find out about different characters and dynamics, and it's all really wonderfully done. It doesn't take itself seriously at all. It's very quirky and fun and an easy read. I mean, it really is a perfect kind of palate cleanser, I think, to all of these intense kind of superhero or really intense books or graphic novels that you might read. It's a very light-hearted, fun book to read with very lovable characters. Even Gru himself is exceptionally lovely, and you want him to be different, and you want him to have success and have a life. But it's very farcical as well what happens. He ends up causing all manner of damage and dangers and stealing horses and cars and smashing up boats. It is very farcical in its nature, him trying to find this person, but then eventually, astonishingly, he does find the person who's sending out the messages in the bottle, and she has got all manner of different problems of her own, but astonishingly the two strike up a massive friendship, and they start to kind of form a bond and try to help each other. And that's really the heart of this story, is these two people who are totally and utterly lost, totally and utterly cast adrift from every other human or living creature in the world, looking for a purpose, and they find each other and try to help each other. but it never goes as simple and as straightforward as that, obviously, particularly for Gru, because by the time he meets her, he has already eaten and killed quite a few people, and that will catch up with him and does catch up with him. And yeah, the story is just beautifully paced, and the artistry in here is out of this world, I think. The characterization that Jonathan Case can get on people, I mean, there's not one human being or person in this entire book that looks the same as the other, and that I appreciate, because everyone's got their own individual kind of character. The actual look of Gru the monster is astounding, because he's got so many features of these kind of 1950s monster movies, that he looks so playful and fun, but then can be so vicious and, you know, eating humans at the same time. But either way, it is just exceptionally well drawn, to be honest, and there is literally, if anything, it gets better and better and better as the drawings go forward. The action, the scenes, the pacing, everything. There's literally not a negative thing I could say about this book at all. It is a perfectly kind of condensed, interesting story, and it even goes to, you know, the bottom of the ocean with big battles with big giant squids and things like that. It goes places you wouldn't expect when you're reading it, and that's one thing I love. When you start reading it, you might not think you're going to feel as much love for Gru and the other characters, but they do come and they do develop and they do really stay with you, I think, and they're great characters. And even the story about why this woman is throwing up ripped pieces of paper containing Shakespeare plays into the water makes perfect logical sense in this book when the answer comes, because it seems so out there and so weird when you're reading it, but then when she explains why, it's perfect. There's nothing wrong with it, and yeah, it's a great read. And as I said in my whole video when looking at Jonathan Case's work, I will certainly be kind of looking for more and more of Jonathan Case's work going forward, because he is such a talented artist. But this book proves another great thing, is that he is also an exceptionally talented writer, because he's managed to mash up his clear love for the ocean, for Shakespeare, for monster movies and for quirky stories. He's mashed up all the things that he loves in life, clearly, into a really cohesive, wonderfully quirky and interesting story. So yeah, that is Dear Creature by Jonathan Case, and that is all I've got to say, so I will catch you on the next one.